Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Brothers-in-law. And if you're new to this channel, on here we discuss police-involved incidents that occur around the country, and we give our analysis on how uh, the officers acted during that traffic stop to see if they, acted as a reasonable officer should be acting in these types of situations. And we also take a look at the citizens and see if they have followed our acronym of CALM, which stands for Comply, Answer Questions, Listen, and Move On. Would their situation had turned out differently? That we know that you may agree or disagree with us because you hate the police or you had a bad experience with the police. But what we're doing is giving you our point of view as if we rode up on that type of call, and as former police officers, what we would be looking at and why these things happen the way that they do, so that by the end of the video you get a better understanding of what took place, and maybe you will learn to react just a little bit differently if you ever have an encounter with the police. So if you're new to our channel, my name is Corey, and I'm a former Virginia State police officer for 7 years, and I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. And my co-host is Mr. Michael Bradley. Welcome, bruh.
Hey, what's going on? Good to be back. Good to have another show going on this week. Got a good video lined up for you. An incident that happened actually early last month. Now that it's February, and like Corey and I always say, one of the values of this show is to give you an idea of whether or not us, if we were in those shoes making those decisions, it would give you an idea of what we think is reasonable, so that way you could say, I know some cops that would have handled that differently, or that would have handled that the same way, or would have, whatever happens in the incident, you will get a better understanding of how it should have been handled or how differently it could be handled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you guys buckle up. We got a good one lined up for you tonight, and let's get into it.
Yeah, and my camera won't stay up for whatever reason, but that ain't gonna stop the show.
All right.
But we'll get it going here. So, but like always, before we get into the show, folks, again, if you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. And also to go ahead on over to our merch shop at brothers-in-law.myspreadshop.com and get your nice little cool little t-shirt with the acronym of CALM on it. Which stands for Comply, Answer Questions, Listen, and Move On. Mike has the other one with the acronym on it in a different style. But yeah, just help us, support us, and get this message out of staying calm. Also, too, if you like to message us, we have email at brothersinlaw21@gmail.com. If you got a question you like to ask us, or you got a video you like for us to check out, send it on over there to the email, and we'll get that comment on the show, and we may even get you on the show. Without further ado, Mike, go ahead and set it up.
All right. What's up, Tone? I see you, Goat. What's going on? Let's get this going here. All right. Now, just set this up real quick. This is in Texas, the great state of Texas, as they say, right? Earlier last month,
January.
What they're not clear on here, Corey, I didn't catch it. Maybe you did. These officers came up on this car parked in the parking lot of a gas station that had a no trespassing sign posted. So I'm assuming, I don't know if they got a call about the car trespassing, or I don't know if they just decided to do a contact with this person because of the trespassing signs. But at any rate, this is how it goes down. Here we go.
You got a little bit of weed on you or something like that? Hey man, I haven't done anything wrong. I can open my car closed. I'm not driving anything. I understand that, but it smells like weed inside the vehicle. Sir, I'm sitting in my car smoking weed in the parking lot. Okay, I haven't done anything wrong.
The Houston Police Department has released body camera footage related to an incident where a suspect was shot by an HPD officer at 8435 Tidwell Road around 7:40 p.m. on Sunday, January 7th, 2024. Officers Washington and Chappell, patrolling the area of 8400 Tidwell Road, observed a black Lincoln sedan parked on the side of a business, displaying visible no trespassing signs. The vehicle remained stationary for an extended period, prompting the officers to initiate a trespassing investigation.
Okay, there we go.
Approaching the driver's side of the Lincoln, the officers observed a male, later identified as Broderick Rax, 39, seated in the driver's seat.
Hey, so they have no trespassing signs here, and I just see you sitting here. Is everything okay? Yes, sir. Why don't you go ahead and hop out for me? Your car smells like weed, man. Your car, don't make it an issue, man. Just go ahead and hop out. You got a little bit of weed on you or something like that? Man, I haven't did anything wrong. I opened my car closed. I'm not driving it. I understand that, but it smells like weed inside your vehicle. So I'm sitting in my car smoking weed in the car. Okay. I haven't did anything wrong. Okay, but marijuana is still illegal, sir. Sir, marijuana is still illegal. Like weed. Because they have a no trespassing sign, and I see your car cover, sir. I can call the store owner. He knows I'm here. Okay. Well, beyond that, it smells like weed in here, man. I'm sorry about the marijuana, sir. Well, hey, that's not my lawyer. You know, I'm going to call my lawyer because I haven't did anything wrong. I haven't did anything wrong. Hey, man, don't make it an issue. Sir, what did I do? Wait, come on. Hey, don't make it an issue, man. What did I do? I already explained it to you. It smells like marijuana. Marijuana. What did you come to my vehicle for? I already explained that to you. I know just turn the car off. Turn the car off. Well, I'm going to call the store owner right now. I haven't did anything wrong. He knows I'm here. Okay, but we're still talking to you, and as we're talking, we can smell the odor of marijuana. Yes, now I'm smoking marijuana, so I haven't did anything wrong. Okay, so you already admitted that you were smoking marijuana, right? Okay, so hey, go, hey, you can't look at this. Get out. Please, get out. Please, man. Please. I swear to God, I'm not doing it. Please do. Please. Get out, man. Get out. Get out. I do not have a gun. Get out. I see the gun, man. Hold on, son. Come on, man. Get out. Oh my God! Get on the ground! I'm bleeding. Oh my God! Stop. Stop. Hey, we're inside the store. Stop. Monique. Hey, stop me, Monique. Stop me. Oh, they arrest me. Monique, they stop me. Monique, they stop me. Hey, she's on me. Monique, they stop me. Stop me, my leg. Inside the store. What's up, man? Hey. I never reached for my gun. He shot me. He shot me in my leg. Hey, he's got a gun in the car.
All right, we're gonna pause it right there. That's about the halfway point of the video. Let's see what kind of comments you think the officers did anything unreasonable, or do you think, to our viewers, do you think something was bizarre, or do you understand what's going on up to this point?
Well, I tell you what, and this one, Mike, will probably disagree, but I think it could have been handled a little bit different.
Okay, how so?
I think if I rolled up, made contact, now looking at it from the standpoint of me being an officer in Texas, and I had the probable cause, if I could determine that it was, a personal usage of marijuana, you know as well as I do, we typically let that little bit go, right? Who's gonna go put that little bit of ounce of weed in the evidence, you know what I mean? And you do all that 2 hours of worth of paperwork for a little dime bag, right?
Okay.
If that were the case, that we don't know. I don't know how much marijuana was found, but however, I mean, I would have, found out from he said the store owner knew he was there. I probably would have sent my shift partner, sent her in there. Hey, verify that, the store owner said he could be out here. Had they not done that, which they didn't, but if they would have done it that way, they would never found the gun in the car, for one. And I guess that's a good thing. They did get him out, try to get him out of the car. They saw the gun. He shouldn't have had the gun. He was, a convicted felon. But in today's time, some trespassing isn't a criminal, can be a criminal offense. I mean, it is a misdemeanor, but it also can turn into a felony. Trespassing arrest as well. So, I mean, it kind of could go both ways, but if I was just in one of my moves and didn't want to, if it was towards the end of the shift, I probably would have let that go. Like, hey, I'd have just verified that he could be there from the store owner, or store owner said, yeah, I know he sits out there all the time. He's no problem. I'd have let it go.
So you wouldn't have got to the point where you saw a gun on the floorboard. That folks, I'm sorry, me and Corey are jumping ahead a little bit. In this video, he did in fact have a gun that was laying on the floorboard for him to easily reach for and grab. So when we talk about gun as if we know what's going to happen, that's because it ends up he does in fact have a gun that they saw laying on the floorboard. But here's my issue, Corey. We kind of disagree. Well, I would have done things a little different than you would have probably. Because here's the thing. Okay, should they have, let's start at the very beginning. Should they have rolled up on him and made contact with him because of the no trespassing signs? I think that's good police work. I don't have a problem with that, because maybe this store gets, for our viewers, maybe this store gets hit with robberies, or stores like this gets hit with robberies all the time. If you got somebody sitting in the parking lot for an extended period of time, clearly not doing business, not getting gas, not doing business, but sitting on the side of the building for an extended period of time, and there's no trespassing signs posted, there's nothing wrong with that stop. The officers had a right to stop. But here's the thing, Corey. I assume, and I didn't check this for viewers, maybe you know and I don't, about Texas law when it comes to marijuana. If marijuana is still illegal in Texas,
It is.
well, it is what it is, right?
It is.
So
It is.
here's where it changes. Once they contacted him for the trespassing part, okay, now once they smell marijuana, well, the trespassing part is a side note now.
Mhm.
Now I'm focused on, well, now that I have contacted you, I smell marijuana coming from your car. And not only do I smell marijuana coming from your car, you just told me you just
You
sitting in the
smoke
car
marijuana.
smoking marijuana. Okay. What else comes into play there? Maybe DUI. Well, if you sitting in the car smoking marijuana, have you been smoking marijuana this whole time? Are you DUI? Are you getting ready to drive off under the influence of marijuana? See, think along those lines. So the trespassing part was just the beginning of how they contacted him and why they contacted him. Now, here's the thing, Corey. They smelled marijuana, so clearly they switched gears, and it was no longer about the trespassing. It was about, now we got to address this marijuana. So at that point, yeah, of course they have a right to pull you out of the car and investigate. What do you think about that?
No, I looked it up. Marijuana is still illegal in Texas. They are working on there. I think Lubbock's, I hope I said it right. Lubbock's, Texas, I think is working on some type of a bill to pass this year to make it legal. I think in Lubbock's, Texas, but it is still illegal. I mean, but you can get the marijuana pass or the medical marijuana pass to legally have it in your possession. So it's still probable cause for them to be able to ask you to step out of the vehicle. Now they don't have to ask for consent now because they had the probable cause, which is the smell. So they don't need your permission to search the vehicle. Now some cops will still ask you, "Hey, you mind if we search the vehicle?" They'll still do it just to cover their six, but they have the probable cause. So they technically don't have to ask you. And the reason why they don't need a warrant is because of the time frame, because it's different from your car versus getting a search warrant going into your house.
Right.
It's a timing thing, right? You're in a vehicle, so that gives you the ability to flee the scene. So you don't need a search warrant for your vehicle at this particular time to search just in a general area where you are to see if you have any illegal drugs in the vehicle. So
had he gotten out of the car like he should have, I think we all didn't seen enough videos where we understand you need to get out of the car if the officers tell you to get out of the car.
Well, he didn't do nothing wrong, Mike.
Right. Well, had he? I heard him keep saying that, but the smell of marijuana points in a different direction.
Well, you doing something wrong.
You didn't do nothing wrong when you just got finished telling me you've been sitting in the car smoking weed.
Right. What you know is still illegal,
and you a felon. We don't know that at the point.
There you go. That part right there, Mike. That
you got a gun on the floorboard, okay? And you actually said, I'm sitting in a car smoking weed and I ain't doing nothing wrong. Well, actually you are doing something wrong. You sitting in the car smoking weed. Come on, man. Are you that high to where you don't realize what you're saying is actually you doing something wrong?
Well, either that is just his ignorance of the law, not knowing that it's not. He feels in his mind he ain't doing anything wrong. Man, it's just weed. It's not like, you know what I mean, he's smoking crack or cocaine or anything like that. I mean, it's just weed, man. Everybody smoke weed.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Corey. Everybody smoke. A lot of people smoke weed, but if it's illegal and you smoking weed in the car in a public place, well, come on, you're asking for trouble. Okay,
Right.
it ain't. Yeah, we as officers, I've been there too. You got a little bit of weed on you. I'm not gonna make a big fuss about it. I have what we call wind tested weed before. You know what I'm saying? I've
We've
done
all
that.
done that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not worth the paper that you generate for it. You know what I'm saying? As long as that person is not impaired, an impaired person who can't care for themselves or can't drive or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But in this case, he clearly said, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm just sitting in a car smoking weed. Well, dude, that there you go. That's illegal right there. But Corey, let me ask, had he just gotten out of the car, okay, maybe they wouldn't have seen that gun. Now,
right.
I'm glad they did see the gun because this is a person who shouldn't have had a gun.
Shouldn't have had a gun.
Okay.
And I think I asked that question earlier in the chat. You know, what would possess a felon to have to carry a weapon? And I've asked a guy that, you know, and they know they're not supposed to be carrying, but you see, the lifestyle that they live and the amount of danger they have put themselves in, they'll be a fool not to carry a gun.
Oh yeah, well yeah, fellas, you know, commonly carry guns for obvious reasons. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
but in this
they
case,
know they're not, and they know the risk of them being caught with that gun again.
Right.
They know the risk, but at the same time, they're willing to take that risk because they know other cats is out there trying to take them out because of whatever mess they didn't got themselves into. So they're going to carry a weapon. So, you know, again, you could go back to the gun laws. You know, strict gun laws are not going to keep guns out of convicted felons' hands.
Right.
These guys are going to get guns because the life they live. I'm trying to tell you, these boys and women are not going to listen to your laws and not carry a weapon. Their lives are at stake every day. Every day they walk out their house. So you best believe they're going to be strapped.
And him being a felon, he probably knew that these officers were going to search his car and they would have found the gun anyway. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, that was red flag number one when you sitting there, I ain't do nothing wrong. Well, step out. No, I'm not getting it. I ain't. Well, that's red flag for me. Like, okay, why don't you want to get out the car?
Right. But had he gotten out of the car, it's possible that they wouldn't have found that gun. But then again, Corey, they pushed aside the trespassing issue, okay, and now we're focused on the marijuana. So at minimum, I would have searched your car. Assuming the marijuana is illegal, I would have searched your car, you know, because that would have been an opportunity for me to search your car. That's what good cops are supposed to be looking for. Opportunities to search your car to see if you're doing something illegal or you got something illegal. Smelling marijuana is a reason for me to search your car. So at minimum, because of the smell of marijuana, I am going to search your car. I might ask you for permission, but that doesn't mean I have to ask you for permission under these circumstances. Okay. Right. But at minimum, he wouldn't have got shot. If he would have got out and said, yeah, okay, you got me. You know what I'm saying? He would have either they would have found some marijuana or not. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he smoked it all, or if he had a little on him, on this person. You know what I'm saying? A lot of possibilities could have happened had he just complied, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? And once I see a gun on the floorboard,
that's a whole nother different
story. That's a whole nother element.
Now I don't want you.
I definitely can't let you get in that car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the fact that you were fighting me and trying to get back in the car, okay, now you crossing the threshold of deadly force. Okay, because I don't want you to get back in that car and grab that gun. And if I lose control of you and you actually get back in that car when I know there's that firearm on the floorboard, I don't want you to grab that gun and shoot me. So I might have to use deadly force to stop you.
Well, and I think I couldn't tell if he was trying to reach for it. Can you go back and play that part right before they shot?
Yeah.
because they yell gun, gun, gun. Now I don't know if he might have tried to reach down at the floorboard, but I think it was kind of hard to see that part right before they shot, and then you really couldn't hear the shots. And this is also another case.
Yeah, it happened so fast.
Yeah, and it's another case that how tasers aren't always effective.
Right. He got taser used on him twice. Both officers used their tasers on him, and it didn't work. So, and he continued to fight. He continued to try to get back in that car.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's taser 2.
So he
jumps back in the car.
Right. You hear that taser still going. He's still pulling on the trigger. See, it was hard to tell if he ever went.
Yeah,
down.
it's hard to tell in this video because it happened so fast. But he was tased at least twice. Well, twice. So you know the officer, Corey, listen. You know the officer sees the gun on the floorboard where you sit.
Yeah.
And you got the nerve to say, I don't have a gun. Well, you do have a gun. And you know the officer sees that gun. So why are you trying to fight to stay back in the car where you know that gun is and that officer knows you have a gun there? Why would you do that? That would make no sense. You know what I'm saying? You creating a threat right there by trying to get back into that car.
Right. You're right. And the reason why they're trying to get out, one, not only do they smell the odor of marijuana, two, we don't want him to drive off.
True.
And you definitely want him to drive off and potentially get hit by them ugly rims he got on the car. But that's another story. But like I said, I think that's the way they roll down in Texas. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all roll in Texas, man. But them rims, whatever. But that's the reason why you don't want him to get back into the car, because if he gets a hold of that gun, and it definitely could have ended up really bad for him. I mean, he got shot twice, I think it was. So, you know, it just
they had to struggle with him for quite a while to get the cuffs on him in the store.
Yeah, and he still was he still had the opportunity to call his girlfriend, whatever, and talk with her on there.
Right,
man.
I'm trying to show the point where the gun was. They saw the gun on the ground.
Oh, okay.
They show it on here on the video.
Yeah, go Dirty South Ride. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to it, but I think that there you go. There's the gun, folks, that he had on the floorboard of the driver's side where he was. He had a gun. Why do you think he had a gun on the floorboard?
He's hiding it.
Is he robbing people? You notice there's a knitted cap there and a gun on the floorboard. That's, stereotypically, if you will.
Yeah.
You could, those are common things that people use in robberies.
And robbery,
and you parked on the side of a gas station of the type of place that typically gets robbed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who knows if he knew the owner of the store really and actually? It's awfully funny that when they was in the store, didn't no owner come to their you didn't hear no owner say, "Hey, I know that guy." You didn't hear nobody say that, did you?
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? They were just in, because he went well into the store, into the store where an employee or somebody would have said something.
Yeah.
But at that point, it doesn't matter. You getting ready to be arrested because you got a gun on the floorboard. Okay, you a felon and you've been smoking weed. You might be DUI. You already illegal possession of marijuana. So we can't act like this guy that was just innocent and didn't do nothing wrong. These cops, in my opinion, Corey, that was good police work. You know what I'm saying? They rolled up on him. and they stopped him. They decided to stop him based on the trespassing stuff, and luckily they did, because they found out he had a gun when he shouldn't have, and he'd been smoking marijuana.
You see how it still could have gone both ways. I don't think there was a right or wrong. I mean, they could have just addressed the trespassing without having them get out the vehicle, stroke him a summons, and send him on his way.
But I don't think they would have been able to do that, because if they searched the car, they would have found the gun, and they would have run his name, obviously. So obviously he would have been a felon. That would have come up. They would have known that that firearm at minimum. You know what I'm saying? So he would have went to jail, but he wouldn't have got shot.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't have got shot had he not been doing all this resistance. And they saw the gun. I mean, yeah, you hate for anybody to get hurt. And this is why it's so important to focus on the acronym of CALM: comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. The guy knew it was up. Yeah, he would have got hit. You know, they probably could have got him for criminal trespassing, because a weapon is involved here, which will probably got reduced down to a misdemeanor in court based on his criminal history record. But that's neither here nor there. But he at least wouldn't have got shot. And it's not like they were looking to try to do that. It was like, dude, don't go there. We don't need to go there. Don't take it there. Don't do this. Right? Just get out of the car. But he's probably one of those ones that knew if he get caught again with a gun, he was going away for maybe 3 to 5 years. Right off.
Maybe that's what it was. That's another reason, if you think about it, why they were best not to let him try to get back into that car. Right. He knew he had that gun on the floorboard. He knew he was a felon. So what was his plan? You know what I'm saying? If he were able to get back in that car, okay, and do what? Shoot it out with the cops to try to get away? Would have been turned into a pursuit then? A lot of things could have happened even worse than what did happen if he was able to get back into that car. You know what I'm saying? If they let him get back into that car.
Yeah.
So clearly these officers did something that actually addressed crime on the scene. You got a felon in possession of a firearm who's sitting in a car smoking weed outside of a convenience store or gas station that's commonly robbed. Okay. Or that those type of places are commonly robbed. Okay. Right. So they addressed, if anything, you could say maybe they even prevented crime. Who knows what this guy was going to do sitting there for an extended period of time with a gun on the floorboard.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, getting high.
Yeah, and getting high. So he might have went from whatever to I'm gonna get the next food that come out the store.
Who knows? I mean, folks, we're speculating, okay? But based on what we're seeing here, this definitely looks like a guy who should have been stopped, okay, and should have been investigated for simple crime prevention stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, do I see anything that these officers did that was unreasonable or excessive? No, I don't. I can see myself doing the same thing in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could probably went both ways, but at the end of the day, yeah, I don't see that they did anything wrong. I mean, you could still could have went in and verified that the guy had permission to be there.
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have done that, but
I don't think that would have made
Let me ask you this, Corey. Say you did that. Say you went in and you contacted the owner of the store or whoever was in there, and they said, "Yeah, I know that guy. He sits there all the time." Would that have changed your response to this guy? If you smelled the odor of marijuana, would that have changed your response?
Okay, take it here to Virginia now, where that's no longer a probable cause. Yeah, I would have just addressed the trespassing thing.
Yeah.
If I'm the officer in Texas, then I would have to still address the probable cause because of the smell of the marijuana. So yeah, I probably would have still asked them on that asked him to step out of the vehicle. One, to make sure, he's not impaired.
Yeah.
And check, and maybe the smell is in the car, but not on his person. Right. So like, how we get him, another reason why we get out of the car for drinking and driving. Hey, I just dropped my friends off. They were drinking. I wasn't drinking. All right, step out the car, because now I'm separating that possible smell of the car from your person, and I don't smell it on you, but I can still smell it. You know what I mean? So that's a deciding factor to help you to see whether or not they're impaired or not. So if I'm in Texas doing this, then yeah, I would have done it the way they did it.
I mean, look, folks, you see that gun on the floorboard. I think that's the reason why he was trying to fight to get back into that car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He didn't want them to find it. And I think he might have been ready to shoot it out to get away from him. You know what I'm saying? He might have been ready for that. You don't know. That's why.
Right, I think that, again, speculating, but who knows? You don't want him to have that opportunity, right? Because we would have been a whole totally different situation had he went and reached for that gun. All right,
Tone, go and like a comment. Lady smokers weed. He didn't do nothing. Tone says, doesn't a felon possessing a gun trump everything regardless? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right, Tone. Because once I see you, once I determine you are a felon in possession of a firearm, well, the trespassing thing is kind of minimal, isn't it? Yeah, that's going to be a reason why I pulled you over or why I came up and stopped you in the first place. Okay, but that's not going to be the main crime. It's going to be felon in possession of a gun. But let me ask you, Tone.
Well, you're going to get charged. You're still going to get charged for those things, but it just on the level of precedence, what is priority, which you're going to look for the bigger charge, which would be the weapons charge. Those other things will still play a factor. You're still going to get charged for those.
Oops, I messed something up. But let me ask you this, Tone. Look at it this way, Tone. If these officers didn't enforce the trespassing sign or never contacted this guy, they would have never known he was a felon in possession of a gun. You know what I'm saying? And who knows what this person, speculating again, who knows what this felon with a gun getting high off of marijuana next to a gas station could have done or was getting ready to do or something like that. Remember, it's all about crime prevention. Okay. That simple stop of trespassing led them to more serious things. That's good police work. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's good police work, Tone. You know what I'm saying? You don't just brush off small things because they could lead to bigger things. You don't brush off that brake light because the person driving that car could be a felon on probation and not even supposed to be in the area or whatever it is, or might have a warrant or something like that. As officers, you got to think of those things. That's why you are doing enforcement like this.
Right. Okay? And a lot of my arrests have been because of some type of equipment violation. And then you're going to run the person and they got, outstanding warrants.
Right.
And then you get them and you arrest them and then, they got a gun on them. So, you just racked up a whole bunch of charges off this individual, just for, a brake light being out or, medallions hanging from your rear view mirror, which is illegal here in the state of Virginia, but it's not a primary offense anymore. It used to be a primary offense. But, getting guys like that or girls like that and you run them and then you find out they got 4 or 5 warrants out for their arrest, and it could be for murder. It could be, for, sex trafficking, whatever the case may be. Criminals still do drive and they always ride in what we say called riding dirty, expired tags, whatever. Inspection stickers expired, whatever. This is why officers are always vigilant while they're out there. They're always looking. You're always being looked at, and if I can get you for a broken tail light and it end up turning to be, more than that, then, good on them.
I mean, how many times have you stopped people for something like a broken taillight outright and turn to find out during the investigation, you find stolen property in their vehicle? You know what I'm saying? If you are the victim and you just had a bunch of tools or whatever stolen, you should be glad that happens, right? Because that's really the only way you can find something like that is you're going to have to stop somebody for an unrelated reason and fortunately get something bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? Oh, right. You got a bunch of stolen credit cards on your person. You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, you got a bunch of mail in the car.
If you're the victim of a crime, that's what you want the police to be doing, is to get out here and find your stuff.
Right.
Right.
And how do they do that? Stuff like this.
Like this.
Traffic stops. Suspicious people. No trespassing sign. Why is this car parked here? Those are things you do to enforce small enforcements to prevent crimes or to catch crime. You know what I'm saying? Small enforcement always starts there.
Yeah, it always starts there, man. We always got to be on the lookout for things. Because that's, at the end of the day, it's what we pay them to do, right? Crime prevention, right? And not just to walk around, right?
Yeah, we don't just respond to crimes. It's doing things to prevent crimes too. Doing whatever you can. Cops, when you go on the street, that's what you're looking for. Not only are you enforcing things, whether it's traffic laws, whether it's taking calls for service, for reports, whatever it is, whether making stops on pedestrian stops on people for small violations, things like that. You're looking for the bigger thing all the time. Usually you don't just settle for what's right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You keep going until something catches your eye that, oh, now we're leading to something bigger.
Right. So let us know what you think about this video, folks. Do you think these officers acted as a reasonable officer? Or do you think they should have just, let this guy go? I mean, he wasn't doing anything but smoking weed. Let us know what you think. Drop us a comment down there, and let us hear what you have to say. What was the rest of this? I think they just had different angles of other officers.
I think it was. I think it just shows once he was arrested, once he was handcuffed, they got him into the patrol car. They left everything in his car as it is until somebody came out to, do the fingerprints and evidence collection and stuff like that. And he was booked. Let's play it. Let's me see the ending part of this.
Tasers were deployed in an attempt to.
Wait, let's back it up a little bit. He was shot, so obviously emergency medical came on.
The officers informed Rax that they were conducting a trespassing investigation and detected a strong smell of marijuana emanating from his vehicle. Despite instructions to exit the vehicle, Rax refused to comply and continued resisting orders as officers attempted to remove him. During the struggle, officers noticed a gun within reach of Rax on the driver's side floorboard. Tasers were deployed in an attempt to detain him, but proved ineffective. Continuing the struggle, Officer Chappell observed Rax reaching for the gun. In response, Officer Chappell discharged his duty weapon, striking Rax once. Subsequently, the suspect fled from the vehicle into the business, where officers apprehended him. First aid was administered to Rax, and Houston Fire Department paramedics transported him to an area hospital in stable condition. Broderick Rax, 39, now faces charges of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon and possession of a controlled substance.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say?
It is what it is. Good job by the officers. That's good police work. They handle it. I mean, there might be nitpicking, if we would be critical, there might be some things that they could have done better tactically. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I mean, he should never got made it into the store.
Yeah. But it went down the way it went down. The officers, they got a felon in possession of a firearm, okay, at minimum, right? So Good work. I think it's good work by the
Yeah, I think it's good work. I think it's good work. So again, let us know what you think, folks. Was this good police work? What should have happened? What could have happened if he just followed the acronym of CALM? Comply, answer questions, listen, and moved on. Now he still would have went to jail because of the trespassing, but I mean, it is what it is. At least he's still alive. He's still alive
because of marijuana and probably firearm. Yeah, because I'm sure they would have found it once they searched the car. You know what I'm saying? But he wouldn't have got shot, right?
That part, he wouldn't have got shot. And that's what we don't want to happen is for you to get shot. But you know what use of force would have been next reasonable to use. I mean, he has a potential of using a firearm, so I'm not gonna spray OC spray, and I'm not gonna hit him with my ass because he's inside the car. So Taser didn't work. Next course of action would have been service weapon. You didn't want it to have to go that way, but he put the officers in that position because he chose not to get out of the vehicle. Hey, Black Jet, welcome, Designer Dreams. Welcome to the show. We're talking about a guy in Texas that was sitting in his vehicle, smoking marijuana. Police rolled up on him, made contact with him, started talking to him, and then he refused to get out of the car because they had probable cause to ask him to step out of the car based on the amount of marijuana they were smelling coming from inside of it. And he chose not to get out the car. Upon the struggle, they see a weapon on the floor. He did get out, then got back in the car, and then they saw that he was reaching for the gun, and they shot him. All right, 2 shots went off, but I think he was only hit once, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't catch that, but
yeah,
and he was shot in a lower extremities. So and,
leads up to the question y'all face: do you have anything better to do?
Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. That's the common question. And when I was asked that question, what I would say, people would ask me that question if I stopped for something small, like brake light out or something like that. Don't you have anything better to do? Well, and I would look at them and say, what do you want me to do that's better than this? Would you rather I respond to a homicide? Would you rather I respond to a murder, a robbery, or something? Isn't that why you choose to live in this community? Because it's generally safe. Okay. So I would hope you wouldn't want me to have to respond to something worse than this. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would always say. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the truth. That's a dumb question. Don't you have anything better to do? Fortunately for you, I don't have anything better to do. You know what I'm saying?
And which makes me have to deal with you now.
Right.
So now you're getting this ticket. Smart mouth. And that's how it rolls. You know what I mean? We get asked that all the time. Don't you have anything else better to do?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have something better to do, but you got my attention now. But that's just how it is, that's why we don't make the big bucks, and we should. They should. We are no longer police officers. But we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Blackjack, Designer Jeans, Tone, Delando, Goat, and everybody else over there on Facebook. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. If you'd like to be on the show, please email us over at the Brothas-in-law 21@gmail.com, and we get you on the show. If you got a video you'd like for us to break down, please email that to us as well. We love the videos, and we like to get it on the show. We thank you, Delano, for always hooking us up with something to look at. And leave us a comment below if you like the content of this video. And that's all I got, Mike. What you got?
Yeah, everybody have a good tomorrow's Friday. So enjoy your day before the weekend and have a good safe weekend. Everybody take care.
Yeah, have a good, blessed weekend. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next Thursday at 8:10 with another video to break down, see what a reasonable officer would do, and stay calm, comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. God bless you, love you, and good night.
All right.